Hello everybody, I am NotPog, and today I bring you the Celestial Origins. The Celestial Origins brings in 4 new origins: the Molan, the Alien, the Selenian, and the Astraionian. These are all original creations created by me, and they can be uploaded with just one data pack, meaning you can just upload this data pack and you get all 4. So it is perfect for you and your friends on any little SMP you would like. And without further ado, let's get into the first origin, the Molan. The Molan. Beneath the crust lays the Molans, a species adapted to underground life. And before we select it, we need to look at the debuffs first. First, we have nearsighted, so the sun is too bright for your small eyes. Exposure to the sun blinds you. So when I select this origin, it will become blind all around me, and I will also become smaller. Just slightly. So as you can see, I basically cannot see. So actually, as I cannot see. Anywho, the first power is burrow. You're able to burrow into the ground using your primary power. So by pressing primary, I can enter a state where I can basically phase, kind of like a phantom, into the ground. Unlike the phantom, however, I do not have a screen tint on my screen, and I can see way further without any fog effect. So I can basically see as far as I would like. Additionally, one way to get past your exposure to sun debuff is by just peeking one block out of the ground. So this is going to be your main method of still viewing the surface world during the day, because let's be honest, this is horrible. So you can just peek your head out like this and constantly be in a state where you're always poking your head out. It makes it so it's really funny to see for other people on your world, but also it is pretty useful. For our next power, we have fast claws. While in the ground, you move significantly faster. So in case you didn't see already, when I'm underground, I am way faster. So just running around, it's way faster than just regular sprinting speed. I believe it is speed 3. So it is pretty useful nonetheless. Alright, for our next power, we have Into the Depths. You spawn in a mineshaft. Now I selected the origin, so it did not take me there, but if you start your world selecting this origin, you will spawn in a mineshaft. And so it is pretty useful to get some early access loot, but also not being exposed to the sun at the very beginning. Alright, for our next power, we have Mining Affinity. Your mining capabilities is significantly stronger. So if I go down here, and let's find a cave, which relatively is easy for Molians. All you have to do is go down. So right here we have a small mine shaft, and if I mine this copper, it is way faster with an iron pickaxe. And to show you the strength, I will give myself a diamond pickaxe with efficiency 5 and show you how fast that is. Alright, now that we have the pickaxe, if I just mine over here, it is instant mining. So this is super useful for digging, especially combined with your burrow ability. You can basically go wherever you want and mine to your heart's content without the worry of running into blocks or anything. Now, you should still watch out for lava, but it's not really an issue. For our next debuff, we have Carnivore. So it's a relatively simple debuff, but you can only eat meat. So, you know, fun. And lastly, going back to the nearsighted debuff, this basically also gives you a small buff of night vision. So when you're in dark spaces, you get night vision. And at nighttime, you can see perfectly on the surface. So if we make it nighttime and run it all the way up to the surface. So now if we get up here, as you can see, I am fully on the surface and yet I can see perfectly fine. So nighttime is going to be your friend. So whenever it's night, you can just be a normal player on the surface. That concludes the Molan origin. Relatively simple, but still super fun. Let's move on to the next origin. The next origin is the Alien. So for our first buff is your skin absorbs the energy of the sun, making it retain a yellow tint. So as you can see, I do have a yellow tint to my skin. And for the next power, we have Solar Launch. Gather solar energy to release it at once, propelling you into the sky. So in order for this to work, it does have to be daytime. So now that the sun is out, if I use my primary, I can launch myself. And it leaves behind a small firework explosion that just launches me in one direction, which is really, really fun, and you can get really high. So let's try this again. Whee! And as you can see, we won't take damage during that time. Alright, for our second ability, we have Solar Flare. Fires a concentrated energy at your opponents. So using secondary, you can basically fire a fireball at your enemies. Oop, I missed that one. There we go. So it's basically a small, simple power, but it can be useful for lighting your friends' houses on fire, or so much more. Alright, for our next power, we have Photosynthetic. Being under the sun provides saturation strength. So you still can't eat food, but being under the sun basically gives you free food and strength. So you don't really have to worry about it as long as you're roaming the surface. And for our one and only debuff, let us turn it to night. So now that it's nighttime, as you can see, our buffs have turned into debuffs, and they are very strong. So not only do I have slowness, but I have weakness 4. So using weapons, it makes it significantly worse. Additionally, you cannot use your abilities during the nighttime. So if I try using Solar Flare or using my Solar Launch, I cannot do that, and I can't even defend myself with my fist. So basically, you are strong during the day and very weak during the night. Alright, let's move on to the next origin. So for the next origin, it is the Selenian. Basically, they are the opposite of the alien, and they descend from a celestial being and use the moon as their guide. So, just like the alien, you have your own whitish tint. So as you can see, I look a little pale, and I gain powers from the moon. Lunar Launch, where you gather moonlight energy, release it at once, propelling me into the sky. So this is your nighttime version of the alien's powers. So if I use my ability, it leaves behind a whiter firework, it launches me the same amount, and it has a slightly lower pitched sound effect. So basically, a little eviler version. For our next power, this one is different from the alien, where you have Moonlight Manipulation. You gather moonlight energy to release a dark magic attack that even phases through solid walls. So what this does is I can summon fangs that chomp my enemies in that direction. So I can even use it through walls. So if you have a pesky Molan friend that won't stop hiding the ground, you can send the fangs their way. So just like aliens get strength and saturation under the sun, I get it as well under the moon. So you don't have to worry about food under the moon, but you can still eat food regardless. And just like the alien, the after hours debuff is basically you get all the weaknesses during the day. So let us make it daytime. And as you can see, we have weakness 4 and slowness. So basically, you are the complete opposite of the alien, and basically are strong during the night and weak during the day. So this is fun for any of those friend duos that want to have similar or exact origins, but have a slight difference in their appearance or identity. So you and your friend can both be an alien and Selenian and be similar yet different. Alright, let's go into the final origin. For our next origin, we have the Astraionian. Birthed from the inside of a dying star, Astraionians contain a godlike powers, often described as being in relation to the stars. So, in the lore of this pack, the Astraionian is what the Selenian and the Alien descend from. So just a cool little Easter egg in there. And for our first power, we have Godly Transparence. Having been born within a dying star, your skin is composed of plasma, and as a result, receive no knockback from physical attacks. So it also gives me this hue, but if I take knockback, I will not take it. Instead, I will stay in place. So as you can see, if this thing hits me right here, I did get levitation, but no knockback with it. So that is pretty fun. All right, for our next power, we have one of our strongest powers, Blink. You can manifest yourself in another location instantaneously. Afterwards, you can hover for 5 seconds. So basically, this is a way of being able to have that godlike superiority where you can just teleport wherever you want, wherever you're looking, and also hover by doing so. So if I want to teleport up here, I will teleport up here and hover for the next 5 seconds. And in case you notice, the cooldown is actually shorter than that duration. So you can basically permafly over voids, oceans, whatever it may be, just by using this ability. But if you just want to return back to the ground, you can just wait the 5 seconds and you'll be on the surface running again. But why would you do that? Don't put yourself with the peasants. For the next power, we have Photon Beam. Fire a devastating laser composed of the essence of a dying star. So this is your second strongest ability, but relatively useful when you combine them both. So, by holding down your secondary, you can fire lasers at your opponents or just in the general proximity of blocks just to show off. So, if you combine it with your blink, you can basically go in the sky and laser down your enemies, and they have no chance of standing against you. If they shoot a bow, teleport away. It's easy. However, with great power comes great responsibility and debuffs. So, for our first debuff, we have Divine Taste. For being such an elevated being, only golden food fits your taste. So, that is a huge debuff when you actually start playing the game from nothing. Not only can you not eat basically any food, but you specifically have to eat food that consumes golden food, which, if you don't have a lot of gold, is very hard to craft. Alright, so as you can see, I have golden carrots, and I can eat them perfectly fine. But at what cost? For the second debuff, we have Unforgiving Elements. The elements within the earth do not resonate with your molecular structure, restricting you to only wear iron, armor, and below. So, because you can blink and stuff, it makes it only fair to have armor that doesn't protect you very much. So, if I give myself an iron chestplate, I can wear that perfectly fine. But if we upgrade that to, let's say, diamond, I cannot wear it, even if I try my hardest. Alright, and for our last debuff, Purgatory. Due to a curse from a supreme being, you bruise easily. So this basically makes it so you take way more damage from any source of target. So if we have this zombie over here, as you can see, he hits for 1.5. So your multiplier is 1.5, so you are taking way more damage by 50%. Alright, so that concludes the Celestial Origins. They are relatively simple but super fun once you pair them up with your friends. So just start up a small world, add this data pack, and boom, all of you guys have set origins for yourselves, and maybe some other origins that you might want to add in there. But overall, they are pretty fun nonetheless. I am NotPog, and I hope to see you next time. Peace.